The church bells were ringing, the guests were seated, and the organist was playing Pachelbel's canon in D. Lily Harper stood at the altar, her hands trembling as she clutched her bouquet of white roses. She glanced at her fiancé, Daniel, who looked every bit the perfect groom in his tailored tuxedo. He smiled at her, but for some reason, it didn't reach his eyes. Lily's heart raced. This was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, so why did she feel like she was about to jump out of her skin? She took a deep breath, trying to calm her nerves, but the room started to spin. The last thing she remembered was the priest saying, "If anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace." Then everything went black. When Lily opened her eyes, she was no longer in the church. Instead, she was lying on a leather couch in a dimly lit room that smelled faintly of whiskey and cologne. Her head throbbed, and her wedding dress was wrinkled. She sat up, confused, and looked around. The room was cluttered with guitars, vinyl records, and empty beer bottles. A man with tousled dark hair and a leather jacket slung over his shoulder stood by the window, smoking a cigarette. "Who are you?" Lily demanded, her voice shaky. "Where am I?" The man turned to her, a smirk playing on his lips. Well, sleeping beauty's finally awake. "I'm Ryan. And you, my dear, are in my apartment." Lily's eyes widened. "Your apartment? Why am I here? What happened?" Ryan stubbed out his cigarette and walked over to her, his piercing blue eyes studying her face. "You don't remember? You were about to say, 'I do' to that boring suit and tie guy when you passed out. I carried you out of there before anyone could call an ambulance. Figured you needed a break from all that perfection." Lily's mind raced. She remembered the church, the flowers, the guests, but everything after that was a blur. "Why would you take me here? I don't even know you." Ryan chuckled. "Oh, you know me, Lily. We've met before. You just don't remember." Lily frowned. "What are you talking about?" Ryan leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "You and me. We've got history. But you've got amnesia, sweetheart. You don't remember anything." Lily's heart skipped a beat. "That's not possible. I'm engaged to Daniel." "I would never," Ryan cut her off with a laugh. "Daniel? That guy's about as exciting as a spreadsheet. Come on, Lily. You're not the kind of girl who settles for safe. You're the kind of girl who goes after what she wants. And what you want, is me." Lily stared at him, her mind spinning. Was he telling the truth? She couldn't remember anything about him, but there was something about his confidence, his charm, that felt familiar. Before Lily could protest, Ryan grabbed her hand and pulled her to her feet. "Come on, we're getting out of here." "What?" "No. I need to go back to the church. Daniel's probably worried sick." Ryan shook his head. "Daniel's fine. Trust me, he's not the one you should be worried about. You need to remember who you really are, Lily. And I'm the only one who can help you do that." Before she could argue, Ryan dragged her out of the apartment and into a beat-up convertible parked outside. The engine roared to life, and they sped off down the highway, the wind whipping through Lily's hair. "Where are we going?" Lily shouted over the noise. Ryan grinned. "Wherever the road takes us." Over the next few days, Ryan took Lily on a whirlwind adventure. They stopped at roadside diners, where Ryan ordered pancakes with extra syrup and made Lily laugh with his terrible jokes. They danced under the stars at a honky-tonk bar, where Ryan taught her how to two-step. They even went skydiving, and Lily screamed the entire way down, clinging to Ryan for dear life. As they traveled, Lily found herself drawn to Ryan's carefree spirit and devil-may-care attitude. He was everything Daniel wasn't, wild, unpredictable, and utterly irresistible. But every time she tried to remember their supposed history, her mind came up blank. One night, as they sat by a campfire in the middle of nowhere, Lily turned to Ryan and said, "Tell me the truth. did we really have a history? Or are you just messing with me? Ryan hesitated, his usual smirk fading. Okay, fine. I lied. We didn't have a history. But I couldn't let you marry that guy, Lily. You deserve so much more than a life of boring routines and safe choices. Lily's eyes widened. You kidnapped me from my own wedding because you thought I was making a mistake. Ryan shrugged. Guilty as charged. I was having a crush on you for many years. You never saw me, but I always saw you. I know everything about you. But admit it, you've had more fun in the past few days than you've had in your entire life. Lily opened her mouth to argue, but she couldn't. He was right. She had never felt more alive than she did with Ryan. But that didn't change the fact that he'd lied to her. You're unbelievable, she said, shaking her head. What am I supposed to do now? I can't just disappear. I have a life, a job, a fiancé, ex-fiancé, Ryan corrected. Face it, Lily. You're not going back to him. Not after this. Lily's heart ached at the thought of Daniel. He was kind, dependable, and safe. But was that enough? She looked at Ryan, his face illuminated by the firelight, and felt a pang of longing. He was reckless, unpredictable, and infuriating, but he made her feel alive. Eventually, Ryan and Lily returned to the city. Lily knew she had to face Daniel and explain what had happened, but she wasn't ready to say goodbye to Ryan just yet. As they stood outside her apartment building, Ryan took her hand and said, "This is it, huh? Back to reality." Lily nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "Thank you, Ryan. For everything." Lily went back to her apartment, where Daniel was waiting for her. He looked relieved but also hurt. "Where have you been, Lily?" "I've been worried sick." Lily took a deep breath and told him everything, about the amnesia, the road trip, and Ryan. When she finished, Daniel was silent for a long time. "Do you love him?" he finally asked. Lily hesitated. "I don't know. But being with him made me realize that I've been living my life on autopilot. I need to figure out who I am and what I really want." Daniel nodded, his expression resigned. "I understand. I just want you to be happy, Lily." Tears streamed down Lily's face as she hugged him. "Thank you, Daniel. You've always been so good to me." Months later, Lily was sitting in a coffee shop, sketching in her notebook, when the bell above the door jingled. She looked up and saw Ryan standing there, his leather jacket slung over his shoulder and a mischievous grin on his face. "Fancy meeting you here," he said, sliding into the seat across from her. Lily's heart skipped a beat. "Ryan? What are you doing here?" Ryan shrugged. "I was in the neighborhood. Thought I'd stop by and see how you're doing." Lily smiled. "I'm good. Better than good, actually. I quit my job and started painting again. It's been freeing." Ryan's grin widened. "Sounds like someone's finally living life on her own terms." Lily laughed. "Yeah, I guess I am. What about you? Still running from responsibility?" Ryan leaned closer, his eyes locking with hers. "Nah. I've been thinking about settling down. Maybe even sticking around for a while, if you'll have me." Lily's breath caught in her throat. "Are you serious?" Ryan nodded. "Dead serious. I always waited for you. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me, Lily. I don't want to let you go." Tears filled Lily's eyes as she reached across the table and took his hand. "I don't want to let you go either." And as they sat there, holding hands and laughing, Lily realized that sometimes, the best adventures are the ones you never see coming.